Well, we don't open presents until actually tonight. That's how my family is. This morning, they were out there feeding the homeless in Fort Worth, right next to my haunted house. So we usually feed the homeless about right down the 1 block away from my haunted house in Fort Worth. It's the, 10th annual time we've done it. And it was a long day for them. But today I want to talk about junk removal and something I was thinking about earlier. I was looking through the internet. We're looking to, me and my sister Maribel are looking to expand our haunted house business. And one of the things we did was we went to Old City Park in Dallas. We looked at renting out the whole park from the city, and we looked at the opportunities of doing something positive. Okay? So let's get into that right now. About when I first started this business, or when junk removal companies first start this business, one of the worst things that they can do for their business, right? And we've always said that Merry Christmas to y'all guys. Here's one of the worst things that you can do. When you get into this industry, a lot of people are going to throw advice at you. A lot of people are going to tell you things. And I've noticed a lot of Asians doing videos lately for junk removal, which is pretty funny because they're not a hands-on handyman kind of people. They're more like computers, numbers people. But I've been seeing a lot of Asian people of descent doing junk removal, and they always have something to say. And they're late to the party, to be honest with you. But you start off in this business, you're going to start off with an expense of a truck and a trailer right off the bat. And then you're going to want to kind of push forward your business. Leap it in bounds so you can get busy and start making money. What's up, bro? And one of those things is buying ads. I'm going to tell you, if that's the first thing you do when you get into this bit, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of junk removal companies that's the first thing they do. They get into buying ads. They get into buying leads. That is the worst thing you can do when you first start your junk removal service. See, it's a stabilization period that your business has to go through. I've told people I started this business using Craigslist, Facebook, and really that's all there was. I was always posting information on these websites, and it was successful for me. The worst thing you want to do is take money out of your pocket. 19 years I've been doing this. When I first started this business, I was doing it part-time. I was in real estate. I was working for the cartel. I was buying properties for them up in Dallas. I didn't know I was working for the cartel, but I was buying properties for them and making a little money here and there. And then my dad found out who these guys were, and he made me quit. And I said, okay, no problem. And I started doing, when I was selling properties, I was doing junk removal on the side, you know what I mean? And I just remember I went from doing 2 jobs a week, posting on Craigslist, and doing that for a long time. But I knew I could take it serious once I quit doing real estate. I knew that I'd have to take this job serious. And I think at the same time when I left the real estate market is when I built my first website. Here's a cool story. I never knew how to build websites 19 years ago. I knew no idea what a website was, what it does, what kind of information it gave. So I remember going to Barnes and Nobles. I've told this story 100 times. I remember going to Barnes and Nobles and getting all these books. I ended up buying 4 books, and I never read. I never read. And I remember putting these in my office, which was the restroom. And I knew if I put them in the restroom, I would read because I get bored. I spend a lot of my time in the restroom. So that's what I did. One book after another. I started knocking them down. 6 months later, I was done with like 4 books, and they were thick. Oh my gosh, were they boring. I had to look up phrases and stuff. Google was around, but they aren't what they are now. And one of the first things I did was build a perennial powerhouse of a website. Boy, I did exactly like the book told me. And then there was this word that kept on popping out. They kept on saying, optimize your website for the internet. And I never understood what that meant. They just kept on saying, optimize your website. I had to look up the word optimize, to be honest with you. And as I look up that word, it says optimize. Well, how do you optimize a car? How do you optimize a house? You optimize a car, put new rims on it, a new engine, drop it a little lower so you can get better wind resistance. The house, how do you optimize a house? You add a room to it, you fix up the outside, you put lighting. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. How do you do that to a website? Well, I started doing YouTube videos and adding those YouTube videos to my website so I can optimize it. I started adding pictures to my website so I can optimize it. I added a booking platform to my website so I can optimize it. I did so many little stupid things. I added a map on my website so I can optimize it. And the little things that I added to my website made my website be successful. Yeah, all of a sudden, I remember going from 2 jobs a week to 2 jobs a day. I swear to God, I remember that day too. It was a Friday. I had plans with my friends. We're gonna go watch a high school football game at night. The phone kept on ringing. I was like, what's going on? I ended up with 2 jobs that day. And then it rang the next day. I ended up with 2 jobs on Saturday and Sunday. I worked again. And it just kept on going. The first time I ever did 5 jobs was incredible for me. You know, I was blown away by it. It's like $1,200, and I thought it was a huge blessing for my business. I thought it was a step forward for my business. And man, first time I did 10 jobs, I remember that. The closest I ever got to 20 was 16 jobs. I did 16 jobs in one day. I think I recorded, I'm pretty sure I did. As a matter of fact, the day that I went and did those 16 jobs, I was with another junk removal company, and I was showing him the ropes. Me and him had knocked out 11, and then we had 5 more to go, and I'm like, damn, bro, you want to do them? He's like, I got to go home. So, you know, those were the days that money was just floating around everywhere. Now things have gotten a lot different. I wouldn't say that this industry is saturated. I would say there's more competition. I would also say that there's more businesses out there that like to market themselves their way, and there's more opportunities for the customer to reach out to other people. But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's saturated. Saturation is such a tough word. And for an industry to be saturated, no, man. But one thing I knew when this huge company, Google, rolled out, what was it, Google Ads, right? They rolled out Google Ads. they rolled out Google Profile. I think it was Google My Places first, and then Google Profile, and then Google Places, what it is now, or Google My Business, what it was. One thing that was important was for me to always optimize my Google My Business place. And when they started offering for ads, I just avoided it because I was already busy. Why would I want to get any more busier? Then I had, I bought like 5 trucks, I had a 5-man crew, I went and did all that bullshit. And I kept that for about 6 years, making so much. We were averaging like $4,000 a day, bro. We're making so much money. But at the end of the day, I was walking away with like 20 bucks. My expenses were so high, my employees were so expensive, my trucks were so expensive. And that's when I learned, bro, and you want to hear something crazy about that journey, that 6-year journey of paying for employees and mistakes and paying for everything, is that my trucks were paid for, my trailers were paid for them cash. Yeah. And I still couldn't afford keeping that business going. So after one of my employees wrecked, after another employee decided to steal, and the other employee was going to college, I decided that was a good time right there to let everybody go find something else to do, and I would do this show by myself. I already had the clientele, so I might as well do it. And that's when I started subcontracting jobs to other companies and giving away jobs left and right. I can tell you this, that I bet, and I know for a fact, I give away more jobs than about 90% of companies do on a daily basis. That's the truth. I gave one away yesterday. Two the other day. I went and did one job. I got 2 jobs. Sometimes it's just not worth it to me. One thing I never did was pay for Google ads. I never thought Google ads would get me anywhere because I already had a lot of business. Yeah, I learned that. Ooh, who's saying this? I'm playing Doom on my laptop. I have nothing more to say. Stay hydrated. Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to go for a little half a mile walk, maybe a mile. I don't know what I did. I don't really keep track of that. Whew. Whew. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna go do some TikToks, and I'll see y'all later, guys. Have a great day. Stop paying for ads.